the most intense face-off I've ever seen.
It goes down at Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York, USA. It's live on the pay-per-view tonight.
Joe Rogan is hardly caught unawares when it comes to boxing commentaries, and following his relative silence regarding the fight, Joe Rogan has come out to reveal his predictions ahead of the fight. He's joined by other top professionals of the sport as they give their analysis, and their favorite will surely surprise you. Let's hear them out. The fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney is at its very climax, as just a few hours away from now, both fighters will lock horns in the ring, and for the very first time since their amateur days, they'll have the chance to translate their verbal exchanges into punches. It has been billed as a game of 7, and most especially as the match of the year, and undoubtedly the hype, the controversies, the face-offs, and everything that's characterized the build-up to this fight has been nothing short of tremendous. You surely can't remember the last time two boxers laid hands on each other just a few hours after confirming.
Yeah, for all that disrespect, watch. You can't stop it now. Yeah, he said, yeah, Miss Garcia, you can't stop it now. It got real. Yeah, it got real.
But it's even gotten way beyond mere shoves. The beef has gotten to the point of death threats, not just by both boxers, but by their family members as well. Bill Haney has promised Ryan Garcia a gift on April 20th, and it's surely not the most desirable of gifts. He's promised Ryan Garcia's death, and while many might be doubtful of his claims, the D-Day, which is just a few hours away, would affirm or refute every claim.
Yeah, I think he got robbed. I mean, the commentators were trying very hard not to say he got robbed.
Yeah.
They were dancing around, close rounds and this and that, but I didn't see it at all.
Ryan beat Devin, in your opinion, Canelo, if he's okay, like mentally?
Joe Rogan, known for his astute observations in combat sports, has broken his unusual silence ahead of the bout between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Joe Rogan, the renowned UFC commentator, has largely played a role he's not so known for when it comes to combat sports. While Rogan is reputable for his duties on the microphone, like a master of ceremonies, he has chosen to rather play an observatory role in the build-up to the bout between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia.
People were saying when Ryan Garcia went down against Tank Davis, and people were saying he quit. I'm like, have you ever been hit there before?
Oh.
And for someone who has been silent for so long, it is almost certain that the host of the Joe Rogan Experience would have more than enough to talk about. Without hesitation, he approached the topic like an experienced analyst rather than drifting in the direction of the controversial events surrounding the fight, such as the heated exchange at the Empire State Building in New York City, where Devin Haney shoved Ryan Garcia after Garcia tore Haney's emotions apart with his words to a man who's largely had his father okay, the role of both father and mother. Ryan Garcia went ahead to poke him with the words, "You, Mom," and like a mean survivor of a deadly scar. Devin Haney shoved Ryan Garcia with anger. However, Joe Rogan hardly mentioned this in his comments or their most recent press conference, where both fighters had a mouth-watering bet of $500,000 per pound should any of them show up to the bout overweight. Rather, Joe Rogan picked each fighter tenderly with his lips and analyzed their style and how each of them stands a chance against his opponent come April 20th. Joe Rogan began with the reigning World Boxing Council super lightweight champion Devin Haney, who could see his reign end or get extended should he defeat his longtime rival, who had embarked on this rivalry journey with him since their amateur days. Joe Rogan had quite a number of worries for Devin Haney, as his comments after his bout against Lomachenko showed Rogan wasn't one of those impressed in any way with Haney. And though Haney redeemed his image when he faced Regis Prograis, Rogan still had some illusions to make about his final fight at the 135-pound weight class. A lot of people were unhappy with the outcome despite entering the bout as an underdog. Lomachenko put pressure on Haney and outworked him. However, the outcome favored Haney as he defended his undisputed title for the second time. In one of the episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, host Joe Rogan gave his opinions on the controversial result of the bout. Rogan's opinion was fairly aligned with the general crowd, according to Rogan Vasel. Lomachenko lost the bout despite putting on a phenomenal performance. I think he got robbed. I mean, the commentators were trying very hard not to say he got robbed. They were dancing around close rounds in this now, but I didn't see it that way. I felt like Lomachenko won that decision, said Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan additionally suggested that he would need to watch the fight a second time and score it himself to avoid any bias. While the scorecard for the bout was clearly in favor of Haney, it was met with denial from the crowd in the arena. Many pro boxers and MMA fighters took to their social media handles to condemn the bad judging. Joe Rogan also implied that this is the state of boxing for me. I felt like it was 2 rounds up for Lomachenko. It's bad that it happens all the time in boxing, but it happens in the UFC too, added Rogan. Well, regarding this fight, Rogan picked Haney as the more experienced and more favored fighter ahead of the bout, but he pinpointed some imperative conditions Haney must fulfill to emerge. Victorious. I feel Haney has such an advantage, but he shouldn't just defend. He must throw out those punches. I'm not saying he must do a knockout, but I'm saying he must do those punches like against Regs Prague in the bout against Prater. Haney won by unanimous decision and scored a 120-107 on all judges' cards, proving his absolute dominance of the bout, and once more, Rogan expects to see Haney in a similar fashion. He's got a good defense, but he shouldn't just sit and receive the hits that'll be freaking deadly once his attack becomes fierce too. It's a win for him, but it'll surely be a tough one, having given Haney his conditions and putting him forward as a favorite. Joe Rogan also spoke about Ryan Garcia before his return. Victory against Oscar Duarte Garcia's last bout was against Von Tank Davis, which gave him the very first loss of his career. Joe Rogan, being a staunch lover of Von Davis, didn't mince words when praising the undefeated world champion. However, in his comments about Garcia, he said in agreement with his guest, who earlier said, "I didn't think Tank and Ryan were going to be the selected fight. I just thought Tank was going to be the selected fighter. I just thought Tank was going to be too much too. He has just too many tools, and his style is so weird. He's not throwing hardly any punches, but the freaking threat of danger always looms. It's terrifying," Joe Rogan said, and once more, Rogan has stated that one aspect Devin edges Garcia is his experience over the course of their careers. Haney has had bigger fights and more championship slots, while Garcia's fame is undeniable. It's just a fact that Haney has done more boxing, and Rogan thinks that'll be decisive when they meet in the ring. Garcia's well-being has been a big concern, but let's assume he's fine. I don't see him winning. I think Haney's experience will play out, but if Garcia's defense is worked on, Haney is in for a lot. That's where his weakness comes from, and if he fixes it, he's going to be a tougher test. Joe Rogan has made it clear what he thinks, where he stands, and with whom. Other commentators, writers, and professionals in combat sports made their picks as well, and you surely don't want to miss their picks. Former British professional boxer and 3-weight world champion Duke McKenzie shockingly predicted a knockout victory for Devin Haney. First, I'd like to say I don't think this fight should be taking place for obvious reasons. Garcia is in no fit state psychologically to compete at this level and is in danger of being seriously hurt. Let's hope both fighters come out fit and healthy from this fight. Haney is the complete boxer and has too much of everything for Garcia, who has been exposed previously against Von Davis, and Haney is right up there on that level. Haney wins inside 6 rounds, or Garcia quits inside 8 rounds.
You talk about the analysis of what fighters are going through in the ring. What happens on May the 18th when the bell rings and Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk meet?
Usyk wins. I hate to spoil it for
Ryan Garcia, though he only has 1 career loss, did not look impressive in his most recent outing against Oscar Duarte at only 25 years old. I think we have unfortunately seen the best of Garcia, but I do hope I am wrong on that because I am a fan of the kid. With that being said, I think Haney is truly getting better, and this fight will be no different. He will cruise to a decision win over Garcia. He predicted another matchmaker. Robert Diaz predicted an unwanted draw for both fighters. It is great to see the current generation of talent willing to face each other. I believe this is a major step forward and reminisces about the good old days. This fight is very intriguing, and of course there is a history between them. They are both very talented and gifted athletes, which makes this fight that much more interesting. However, the paths taken have not been the same, and that is what gives Haney the edge in this bout. He continued, "I believe in Ryan and know of his abilities, but would have preferred a couple more fights with trainer Derek James, a couple more fights at the weight, but more importantly, to be consistently active before facing someone who has been as active as Haney. The momentum favors Haney. However, Ryan can end that quickly with his speed and power. In the end, I see a very entertaining fight on April 20th, one that will leave the fans wanting number 8. They fought 6 times as amateurs. The winner is boxing. Let's do number 8. Popular American sports personality and boxing commentator Rich Marotta predicted a win for Haney as well. Haney Garcia has the potential to be a really interesting scrap. Both fighters are in their prime. Haney is a bit more skilled, and I think Ryan punches harder. However, in terms of focus and mental preparation, Devin is miles ahead Garcia, who has been all over the place with his outrageous comments and behavior. Marotta said there have been times I thought he was on the way to some kind of meltdown, maybe even in the ring like Oliver McCall. I am also suspicious of his training regimen, and with all that to factor in, I'm looking for a competitive 4 or 5 rounds, and then for Haney to dominate the rest of the way and win a solid decision. You've heard from the professionals. What do you think about the fight, and what's your predicted outcome? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Until next time.